Hi there, it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator in the UK. If you are in the UK and would like to purchase any of the products I'm using, then I would be thrilled if you would. There's a link to my online store below and also a link to my website, which will have all the information about this project and images and links for everything I've used. So this is the card that I'm going to make with you today. It uses the Friend Like You stamp set, which bundles with the friendly silhouettes, which are this bulrush, flower, tropical island and dragonfly dies. These are dies that you work with on the edge of a piece of card, or in my case vellum, so you can have these as high up or as low down as you want them, so you just choose your border. I have die cut them already because they are a little bit of a fiddle, and I've die cut them in the Perennial Essence vellum. So I've done one in the green and one in the yellow, so it's So Saffron and I think it's Old Olive, but I'm pretending it's Pear Pizzazz because it's Pear Pizzazz that I am pairing it with. Different pear, but you know what I mean. I've cut one way and one the other so that I can have them going in opposite directions. I just think it's nice if you do that. So one I cut this way up, so the green one I've cut this way up, and then I'm just going to flip it over to have the darker side, because there is a definite dark side and light side, particularly with the green. It's less obvious with the So Saffron, but it is still there, and again with the Petal Pink. One side is slightly darker than the other. So, yes. Okay, so I'm using, slightly surprisingly, Very Vanilla card for my base, just so that it's a soft image. I'm just grabbing some scrap paper because I'm going to be going off the edge. So, and I also want to stamp off. So my So Saffron is 5.5 by 3 3/4. My Very Vanilla is 5.5 by 3 3/4. My So Saffron is 5 5/8 by 3 7/8. But don't worry, it's all on my website. So just follow the link. It's straight to this post. Now for the vellum, I cut strips 6 inches wide because the dies are, as near as makes no odds, 6 inches wide. And they were 2.5 inches from top to bottom, which meant I wasted very, very little. And that's with a roughly 1/2 inch border at the bottom. So let's get started with some stamping. I have 4 colours, or I would have if I found all 4. So I have Pear Pizzazz, So Saffron, Soft Sea Foam and Blushing Bride. I'm going to start with the Pear Pizzazz, and I'm actually using it at half strength. So there are 2 images for greenery. There's this one and this one. This marries up with the flowers image, and this marries up with the bulrushes. I'm going to use both, but this is the one that I actually want to stamp to show. The other one I'm just going to use as a filler, because I want the card to come higher. So I'm going to be leaving some gaps. So I'm going to start reasonably high up, because the bulrush it's not a bulrush, the flower is quite tall, but I don't want to go so tall that I'm off the top of the page with the flower. But I'm just inking up, stamping off, coming down a little bit each time. Not a huge amount. And it's a very quick stamp off. I'm not going for a really big difference in the colour. I just want it a slightly softer shade. What do I mean by that? Let me bring in a piece of scrap. So if that's full strength, and if I were to use this This is technically second generation, but is very pale. But if I do a quick stamp off, it's slightly darker. So the longer you leave your stamp attached to whatever it is you're stamping on, the darker the image will be. So just worth bearing in mind that if you want second generation to not be so pale, just do a light kind of bounce, if you like. Right, and then I'm going to fill in with the other grass image or undergrowth image, and again I'm going to stamp off, and it's just so that there isn't an obvious gap at the bottom, bearing in mind that we are going to be using vellum to cover this strip up, so I didn't want there to be nothing. Yeah. Okay, so that's my undergrowth. Then I'm using So Saffron and Blushing Bride for the flowers. And I'm doing a bit of each. And I am doing some proper second generation. So this I want to be first generation. Now, to match these up, I find the bottom of this top piece marries up here. And then I try and find a couple of lower pieces to line up so that you don't end up with things kind of in midair. It is very much easier when you do not have a camera in your way. So you see what I mean? So I've matched that, and then I looked at this one and this one. It's a little off, but it's not so bad. No, I actually wanted to have second generation of that as well. So I'm concentrating, you can tell, can't you? There we go. And then I'll do one more first generation over here. And again, I find twisting it is the way to go rather than moving it up and down so much. So get it where you think it's going to be, and if it's slightly off, then twist. So line this and this and then twist. If that makes sense. Hope it makes sense. Clean that on my trusty chamois, which is filthy but clean. I do rinse them out, but they then just get dirty again and the black won't come out. Okay, so Blushing Bride, I'm going to go into the middle first at full strength. And then stamp off. And again, stamp off. So those are all our flowers suitably stamped. So now all I need to do is pop on a few dragonflies. Don't have to put dragonflies on, but one can, so why wouldn't one? I'll just put my thumb in the Blushing Bride. Hey ho! Trying to preserve, I've just only recently redone my nail varnish, so I'm trying to preserve the tips, which is why I didn't want to drag with my nails. I put a top coat on, but it takes a wee while to fully cure. Okay, so soft sea foam, very pale. So I'm going in full strength because it is very, very pale. There's no need to stamp off. And then, oops, where should I put my other one? Yeah, they may get covered up, but... And I'm not worrying that I'm stamping over some of the flowers, because it'll either look as if it's flying over the front of the flower or the back of the flower. So it's fine. Okay, so the only other thing I need to stamp is the sentiment. And I thought I had a strip ready for that, but I haven't. So, oh no I have, I just couldn't see it. I have. So this is just an offcut from when I cut my card blanks, or my mats. I'm going to use the Pear Pizzazz again, full strength, and I'm just doing Here's to Celebrating You. And I'm going to do one of those scary things, which is hand cut it. So I want it to be on the right hand side of my card, so I'm going to stamp my sentiment towards the right. Hopefully that is straight, or not. Let's try the other end and see which one is the least crooked. That one probably. Okay, so close that without getting my fingers in it. Always a plan. Right, I need my snips just to snip the end off. And then I'm going to bring in big scissors because I want to cut the top off. If you use big scissors, you're more likely to get a straight line. I'm going to be very, very, very risky and try cutting the bottom as well. So it's a really thin strip. Get rid of those bits, and then we can start building our card up. So let's start by let's get that straight. So I'm just going to flag the end, and I'm using scissors this time rather than a punch. You can use your tailored tag punch, that works quite well, or the triple banner punch works equally well. So there's our little strip. Oh, and it even feels straight. Woohoo! Okay, so saffron base. So let's attach one to t'other, and then we can start adding ribbon and vellum and all those exciting things. I have to say, I'm filming this on a beautiful English summer day. It's about mid-20s, so those of you in Fahrenheit, low 70s. There's a nice light breeze, it's sunny, it's gorgeous. And for the weekend, it's going to be hot, hot, hot. So we're expecting it to be back up into the sort of 30s. Every time I look at my weather app, it's showing that it's going to be even hotter. Now, of course, I was going to cut this so that it was the same length as the vanilla, but I can't now because I've stuck the, well, I sort of can. Not least of all because I know that that's 5.5. So it's not actually how I did it the first time. The first time I stuck it to my card base and then trimmed it, but hey. So I'm going to trim that at 5.5, and then I'll trim the little bit at the top in a moment. Then I need my other one, and I want, so that's going to be that way up. So this one, I want that way up, always a plan, and I want to measure from this end, no, from the other end, yes. So from this end, and again I'll trim the little bit at the top in a moment. Ooh, that is something to not do. Okay, so let me just trim away that piece, and then on this I will trim away to there. Right, okay, so this shouldn't take too long now, famous last words. I want tear and tape, which I had just now. How can you lose a reel of tear and tape? I mean, if you're me, very easily apparently. It must be right in front of me because I cannot find it anywhere. No, it's under my scissors. That's why I couldn't find it. Okay, so tear and tape on the bottom. And normally I would tear it, but fingernails just been done. Take your pick tool is to the side there. Right, so I'm going to put my green layer down first. Oop. There we go. And then another layer of tear and tape. I do like to burnish tear and tape down when I remember, because it's less likely to pull up when you peel off the backing. And then on with our yellow layer. And there you can see that we've got tear and tape. So I'm going to pop another layer down. And again, ooh, actually I was going to take that to the back, but never mind. We haven't. Right, I have got a reel of the Very Vanilla lace. And as we've gone very vanilla, it will match perfectly. So, take that off. I have actually got, that's the, so this is the end of a reel. I have got a new reel. So we'll see what we can do with this. And then if I need to start, yes, I will need to start the new reel. So I'm going to take it so that it's only on the top half of the tear and tape. And then snip that off. And then with my new reel, I'm trying to line it up so that the scallops are offset. And then just line it up with the bottom of the vellum before pressing it into place. There we go. Cut. And as I say, I was going to take the ribbon round, take the tear and tape round the back, but I forgot. So I'm just going to use a glue dot. And again, I'm going to use half for one and half for the other. I am going to put dimensionals on top as well, so it's not too much of a problem. Oop. So one piece and the other piece. Right, okay, so as I said, I'm putting dimensionals on the top, or on the back rather. I'm popping it up. You'd think I had a brain really, wouldn't you? There are moments when I do wonder. Now, depending on whether this is going through the post or whether it's being hand delivered, I would put more or, that's right, stab your fingernail. I would put more or less dimensionals on. If it's going through the mail, I would put more on purely so that it protects the card from dipping. But if you're hand delivering, then you don't need as many, because you know you're not going to squish your envelope. Right, okay, card base, and this is Pear Pizzazz, half a sheet, scored across the top, and then just pop your card on top, and then get your flag end and just curl it a wee bit, little bit of multi-purpose adhesive, and pop that down, and I'm lining that up with the edge of the So Saffron layer, and pop that down. And then I've got some of the basic sequins, some of which are in soft seafoam, so I thought I would continue the soft seafoam theme by just adding 3 of these. And I thought it would be quite fun to have one sort of down in amongst the greenery. And that is it. how long did that take? Oh, about 9 minutes longer than it should have done. Anywho, there we go. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, do give it a thumbs up. If you don't already subscribe, there is a subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner. It would be lovely if you would consider subscribing. I'm aiming for 7,000 subscribers. I keep saying this. And when I have 7,000 subscribers, I will do a craft room tour following my recent change round and clear up. So thank you very much indeed for watching. Any products, say they will be linked below, and you can see close-ups and further information on my website, which is also linked below. Thank you very much and have a super day. Bye!